Number 3, we say you should do the opposite of your training. So this refers to incidences in court where, as is reported here, it was suggested that Lucy Letby was standing around doing nothing. Now, I've spoken to several neonatal nurses. They all say exactly the same thing, that you should have a period of observation where you monitor the infant to see what is occurring exactly. And this was standard operating procedure at the Council of Chester, and more broadly, it'd be standard operating procedure with regard to neonates generally. This is an account of a nurse, Mary Griffiths, in court, who's explaining about neonates. And she says, with regard to neonates, they are just so fragile, so you need to monitor them constantly. So that is literally what Lucy Letby was doing. She realised there was an incident and she realised there was a situation occurring. So she was monitoring the infant to decipher what the situation was and whether intervention was required, which is literally exactly what you're supposed to do. Mr. Myers says a desaturation is not uncommon in neonates. Miss Griffiths agrees and agrees that such desaturations can happen within seconds. She adds that what's been described by the prosecution and bizarrely described by consultants on the unit as standing around doing nothing is instead a hands-off technique for such neonates, as handling them could cause stress, and that is why they have electric monitors. It was also explained to me that it's very easy to introduce infection into a neonate, so you don't go reaching into the incubator unless there's a very good reason. And then Mary Griffiths goes on to say a nurse should wait to see if a baby self-corrects when it desaturates, paying attention to the skin colour of the baby as an additional observation, and only then, if the situation does not resolve, an intervention will become necessary. Now, when the prosecution was dealing with this, they asserted that the only reasonable thing for Lucy Letby to do was to intervene immediately, and that they obviously stated explicitly and implied as well that she was doing nothing, and the reason she was doing nothing was because she wanted the baby to die, which is, frankly, not only is it an outrageous accusation that's unfounded, as so much of this prosecution case is, but also it goes directly against what she's supposed to do in that situation. This is established by neonatal nurses. It's been stated in court. It is known to be the case. It is known that what prosecutor Nick Johnson is saying here is factually incorrect, but they just said it anyway. But in actual fact, what she was doing was monitoring the infant to check whether or not there was a deterioration, to check whether intervention was necessary. So what the prosecution is doing here is admonishing her for doing her job correctly.